Good. That one if you want, yeah.
I did a movie recently called God's Not Dead. I played a professor. So I feel like I'm playing a professor. How you guys doing? What's going on? Can I take this out and walk around? This is weird. All right, you know what? I love to just have you guys ask questions. It's easier that way because trust me, I'll talk. You don't have to worry about that. So if you have questions, raise a hand, whatever it may be, and I'll answer the best. Right away. There we go.
Okay, I just wanted to say you did an absolute fantastic job in God's Not Dead.
Oh, thank you.
I thought it was a phenomenal movie.
I know what the movie's about, though. So that's more of a personal question. This movie I did called God's Not Dead. It was in theaters in the States for about, almost 3 months. I was up here for a couple months, I think. Yeah. And it's the most successful faith-based movie in the history of movies in Hollywood. It was a $2 million budget, made over $63 million. Mm-hmm. And it's still opening in 33 more countries, which is great. So it's pretty incredible what this movie has done, and just shows there's a huge underserved market out there. And I play an atheist college professor at a university. We have a few of those in America. And at the end of the movie, it's interesting because it shows, I just torment the student who's a Christian. And at the end of the movie, it shows 37 court cases in major universities across America where this is actually going on, where it's actually gone to court, where lawsuits have been settled because of persecution that's been going on, when teachers should just be teaching instead of, throwing out their religion and political beliefs or non-beliefs on their students. That's not what people spend thousands of dollars to send their kids to school, but it happens all across the country. And, so it's interesting. It's raised quite a bit of, debates on both sides of the fence. And I think that's why the movie was made, and it was just fun to be part of something like that. But I've mixed it up a lot, though. I've shot quite a few movies since Hercules and Andromeda, probably about 48 movies, I think, since 2006. So it's been busy. I shot 8 movies last year, shot 5 more already this year. I got 2 more lined up, plus a new TV series, which hopefully it goes. We're going to shoot the pilot up in Vancouver in August. And it's called Can't Get Arrested. It's in the vein of moonlighting for those older people like me that remember Bruce Willis and Sybil Shepherd. There was a big name, Bruce Willis's career in that. And it's a romantic comedy, so I think people will enjoy that. But go see God's Not Dead, even though she wrecked the ending a little bit. It's a good movie.
How long did it take you to memorize your lines for that? Because that was really
well. The opening scene was a 6-page monologue. Yeah, I had a knee-jerk reaction. He's Hercules, he takes it apart. Break everything. I initially had a knee-jerk reaction when I read it. I called the writers right. I said, guys, come on. Because I learned I've hated exposition before. I always hate exposition in scripts. I treat the audience like they're idiots. When I'm walking through a door, I don't just say, I'm walking through the door. I don't have to tell you that. You already know that. And the writers had said, well, you want to pare it down, go ahead, pare it down. So I read it again. I went, damn, it's good. I can't take anything out of here. So it was like a challenge in a way for me to do it. But it was written so well. If things are written well, I memorize very easily if it's good writing. Cool. If it's technical writing or weird writing, I don't get, like a lot of things in Andromeda. I call the writers and go, what the hell is this? But I don't know if you guys know this. Gene Roddenberry wasn't a tech guy. You look at his older stuff. When I first got the part, offered to me by Major Roddenberry, it was in my last 3 months of Hercules down in New Zealand, and I was in negotiation to do 3 more seasons of Hercules with Universal Studios. And then I got a call from Major, said, my husband wrote this show back in 1969 when Star Trek was canceled after 3 seasons. He wrote another Star Trek type of show, but thousands of years beyond Star Trek. And I think he would have loved you as Captain Dylan Hunt. And I didn't even have to be sold. I'm a big Star Trek fan, so I was like, send me the scripts, and I just fell in love right away. And that's how the whole thing happened. And I sat in Bel Air. I got in Bel Air house, where she lived in Bel Air, California. Got into his office. She hasn't changed his office since he passed away in 91 or 92. And I was reading some of his scripts, his earlier works, and anything he didn't understand, he would just put in parentheses tech. And he hired a space aeronautical engineer guy to fill in all that stuff for him. Because I know the fans of Star Trek, you guys know that he just called it a Western in space. And the guy it was brilliant. And they had all these different little models of the different stages of the Enterprise. And I said, Major, if I took one of these, would you miss it at all? You know, because it was so cool. I mean, I could imagine on eBay, it'd be, you know, who knows what I could go for. But it was pretty impressive. It was pretty cool to be part of, you know, part of the legacy of Gene Roddenberry. I'm the first captain after Kirk, so it's kind of cool, you know.
The best looking one, by the way.
Well, yes, that's true. But, you know, it's funny, in the first season, I remember I was in Tulsa doing a Comic-Con, and it was the first season of Andromeda just finished, and a woman came up at the Q&A. It was huge. It was a huge con. I mean, the Q&A was like 2,000 people in there. And this woman stands up and she says, you know, in the first season of Andromeda, you only kissed 4 women, and Captain Kirk kissed 9. And I said, well, damn it, I'm going to talk to my writers. And I caught up the second season. So. Actually, I had a really cool video, guys, to show you guys, but I guess apparently this isn't set up to play a DVD, which is...
Well, you need a laptop.
Well, I don't have one on me, so I can't do it. But it would have been kind of fun. It would have been... Because I did I've got a DVD that I made that's got like 13 different chapters from Hercules, and different like comic scenes, fight scenes, whatever it might be. And the last one, to the music of Tom Jones' "I Want Your Kiss," I kissed about 100 women on Hercules. So I don't show my wife that, but it's fun. It was fun for me. I got paid for it. Pardon?
She was one of them.
She was one of them. You're right. You're right. I should just made it all about her. She's in the video. She's in it right there. I did. Hercules was a great dating service for me. Every 2 weeks they sent on a hot woman for me to work with, and I'm a flaming heterosexual, so I worked it all, trust me. So I wasn't shy about it, and it's funny, when I met my wife down there, my wife-to-be, Sam Jenkins, and she played the Golden Hind. Well, first she was Princess Serena, and then she came back to do a trilogy of the Golden Hind, and we had to do the first scene we had to do was a kissing scene, because a lot of times they're afraid the actors may hate each other then in 2 weeks of shooting, so they want to get that out of the way. So the final scene of the movie on the very first day, and it was nighttime, and I walked up to her, and she was sitting on one of those tall director chairs, and I put my hands on both sides of the chairs, and I said, so Sam, what do you think? Maybe we should, practice this kissing scene. She goes, that's a good idea, Kevin. She goes, Annie, and Annie was my makeup artist, my Australian makeup artist, and she says, do you have any mints? And she goes, oh yes, love, I have mints, and she goes over and brings it over to this. Oh, it's not for me, it's for Kevin. I was like, touche, touche. She's a tough little New Yorker, a little bit of attitude. And then she's like, look, because I was working it, she said, look, I don't date actors, and I do not date guys with long hair. And I said, well, I'm making a pretty good living with the long hair right now, so you might want to think about it. But I wore her down, so 18 years later and 3 kids, it worked. So, anyway, another question? Yes?
Actually, Hercules, how did it feel? Did you ever think success would actually go that far?
Well, it initially was supposed to be 5 2-hour movies, and yeah, that's what we did first. It wasn't a TV series at first. It was part of this action-packed thing they're putting together. Shatner was part of one called Tech Wars, which he was producing. And they had Midnight Run. They tried to do a series out of Midnight Run, which is one of my favorite movies of all time. If you haven't seen it, check that out, with De Niro and Charles Grodin and those guys. It's just Dennis Farina. And what was another one? They had Bandits, and they had Vanishing Sun. They had like a karate one. So there was 5 of them. They were going to rotate. Like back in the 70s, they used to have this thing on Wednesdays with McLeod, McMillan and Wife, and Columbo and all those things. So they wanted to sort of reproduce that and do that for television. And so it was supposed to be 4 movies with each of them. By the end, near the end of the second movie down there, I called my manager and I said, they're going to make this a TV series. Called her back in LA from New Zealand. She goes, well, who told you that? And I said, no one told me that. I said, Michael Hurst and Michael played Yost. I said, we have such a great Butch Cassidy Sundance Kid thing going here. And the humor is so good, and the visual effects, and all that. I said, people are going to love this. There's nothing like this on TV right now. And sure enough, before the 3rd movie's done, they added a 5th movie only for us. We're the only ones that had 5 movies. And they told me by the end of the 3rd, they said, look, you're just staying down there. We're going to go into a 1-hour series right away. So it's interesting, because I talked to Universal guys after, while we were rolling into our 2nd and 3rd season, and they're telling me, they're going, yeah, when we initially put all of them up on the board and talked about this, that, we figured Hercules would be the first to get canceled.